Hello, everyone! Blue Star Saber here once again to discuss My Hero Academia, chapter 326. Who Are You Really? In which Yitzi and I am joined by the one, the only Mangareader.
Yeah, I'm doing it live. There's no planning here.
Yeah. Granted, Luckychi is supposed to be joining us, but he seems to have had some technician come over, and he's dealing with that. He said he'll be back in 15 minutes. He said that give him 15 minutes, but if he's not back by then, start without him, and so we are. Granted, I've sent him the link, so hopefully he'll join us before the time when we are finished, though. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Well, granted, I could take, let's see, well, granted, my long summaries could possibly give him time to join in and all that stuff, but heck, or as Steve likes to say, I'm Mr. Wikipedia. But yeah. Sorry. It's recorded an anniversary podcast stream on Luckychi's channel, so let's see, he ends up telling some of the new guys that, yep, this is Mr. Wikipedia, so that's still fresh in my mind.
Yeah, you're reciting off information, man.
Yeah, but anyway, let's see. Anyway, as my subtitle implies, meet your hero. So it's time to get into discussion of today's chapter and all that stuff. As we continue off from what the cliffhanger implied, an All Might focused chapter as he's driving in the rain. I think is the door to his car. Oh no, wait, no, my mistake. That's just a bit of the drawing there. Let's see. So All Might seems to be thinking about, let's see what Midoriya said to him about, when he said he was going off to check the hero hunting groups who refused to join the shelters and that stuff. And thinking about how he says, about the promise he gave to Midoriya's mother about how he can't stop him, but he'll join with him. And a flashback scene of All Might failing to tell Midoriya to rest as he flies off. And it seems that All Might, and it's revealed that All Might has returned to where his statue is, where Class 1A had their fight against Midoriya. As he looks on at Midoriya's broken, what's left of Midoriya's broken mask as well. For some reason, they left it behind. I don't know why, but heck. So yeah.
The visuals. Yeah.
But anyway, as it continues to rain, All Might picks up the mask and looks at his statue and see statue as he sees the billboard saying that, with the sign saying, "I am not here," with the cross and all that stuff, showing how society seems to have given up even on him. But yeah.
Or anyway, something.
Yeah. All Might ends up just commenting how he couldn't do anything for his own disciple, even when he was hurting. Thinking back to what Ayazawa said, let's see, as long as All Might lives, he can live, and being right here. Let's see, that just enough is for the push for people they need and all that stuff. If we ever get a close-up to that I am not here. All Might ends up just thinking about, ends up saying at about this point, he's only getting in the way, saying his name and all that stuff, hero name and all that stuff. As he starts to walk away, however, a mysterious voice says, "Ha!" And it's revealed that, and then we get this single page of Stain saying, drawing his blade towards All Might, accusing him of saying, "What vile blasphemy he's saying about the great hero." All Might and all that stuff. As finally get that meeting between All Might and Stain that was sort of teased before the war arc. It's finally happened, and even just a bit of a tease from this current arc when it looked like Stain was listening into Midoriya and All Might's conversation. He ends up, Stain, angry at All Might's words, tells him to take it back, as All Might recognizes who is drawing the blade in front of him. As he comments about how he never crossed paths with him back when, All Might was still an active hero and all that stuff. And not to mention comments about how their face-to-face meeting got delayed when he wants to visit him in Tartarus. So he comments about how he never expected, meet him like this and all that stuff.
Yep.
Stain has ended up being confused about All Might's words and that stuff. With All Might probably realizing that, yeah, you probably missed a lot when he was locked up. And he says that he's All Might in the flesh, even though he wouldn't know, looking at him. Granted, you'd think that after being a few weeks out of prison, you'd think Ritzy Stain would try to go and find a computer to do a Google search or look up the news, but I don't know, who knows? Maybe most of the technology has been destroyed as well. But then again, I suppose it is technically in a apocalyptic world in most of the Ritzy cities and all that stuff. In Hero Society in Japan. So, yeah. By the way, I think I'm going to end up talking about this off screen. I just remembered, but apparently, well, it's probably still, well, not in the UK anymore, but in the US, it's apparently both Momo Yorozu and Ino Yakamari's birthday, from what I saw some tweets. So,
yeah,
I guess. But anyway, get back into the topic at hand. Let's see. Stain does not believe him, saying that he's not All Might and that stuff. Let's see. All Might realizing that Stain you can't really blame him for doubting him because, well, he looks nothing like it. But yeah, as All Might transforms into his muscular form before resorting back to prove that he is All Might, since All Might's, let's see, skinny and buff transformation was practically the only thing you had to a secret identity in My Hero Academia. Before the all-for-one fight.
Though it wasn't even supposed to be a secret identity.
No, but yeah, that is true. But
it ended up working as one. But yeah, no one really figured it out.
Yeah, it is so it is the closest thing to a secret identity. That's the one thing. That's the one. Let's see, comic book trope that Koei does not really do for the most part. Since every hero is public.
Yep.
While with Marvel and DC, it varies from hero to hero. Though, granted, from what I'm guessing, DC seems to be more on the hero secret identity than Marvel is. After all, of course, you got Iron Man, Tony Stark.
Well, everyone knew who Steve Rogers was.
Yeah, so, but yeah, it's more of a DC thing, really. Granted, Marvel, you have Spider-Man. Well, not in the MCU now, but yeah. But anyway, let's see. So All Might ends up asking Stain if he's going to kill him. However, Stain says no, and it seems like, despite the transformation, he still does not believe that he's All Might and calls him a sham. As he goes on in one of his ideological speeches about how upon this hero a holy ground, you dare falsely claim the mantle of hero. Who are you really? Why presume to call yourself hero? Speak! He really does sound a bit like a religious fanatic here, doesn't he?
Well, Stain was very into his beliefs the last time we saw him. Hero fanatic.
Yeah. Let's see. It's still one of the most iconic moments in the series.
Well, anyway. It's lived up to its name so far.
Yeah. He says, "Oh my!" He repeats his words of falsely claim. He just says, "Fair enough." As he looks back about how his whole life he felt the need to spur to action, since he couldn't sit back as the madness keep Ritzy that was happening in the society at the time. As their daily lives were stolen away senselessly and all that stuff. As we end up seeing a flashback of a young All Might, I think during the time around the same age he probably was when Midoriya went to school, when Midoriya met him and all that stuff. as we see destructive carnage and rubble, very similar to what's going on today from the looks of it. No, he talks about how powerless he was at the time. He refused to sit on the sidelines. Let's see, and he tried to try and find a way to make the world a better place somehow, which, lucky enough, he ended up running into his master, who, let's see, the seventh one for all quirk user. So yeah. As Stain is listening on, as All Might says about he's run his course now, and he looks on the end result as we see collapse of all the buildings, probably caused by, Gigamechia's rampage.
Was that city?
I have no idea. It's one of the cities, at least. It's the city that, All Might, battled,
Maybe they just never rebuilt it. But yeah, one for all, beat one for yeah. All for one. Well, yeah, one for all might beat all for all for all for one. Oh, get these damn things.
All for one, yeah.
One for all is the good one. All for one is the bad one.
Yeah. I suppose you shouldn't really blame yourself for getting that mixed up and all that stuff, but yeah.
Just remember, kids, OFA is good, AFO is bad.
Yeah.
Remember these anagrams.
Yep. Let's see, I believe it was best genus, Hideout Radar, All Might Forces, All for One rematch. It was Kimina Ward, yeah. A city called Camino. That's where we're currently at right now. So I'm just taking a look at Wiki. Just to, confirm, the actual city and all that stuff.
Confirmation.
Yep. This guy, went to a different page. Back to it. Here we are. As he talks about how he would have given his life to protect his disciple, Midoriya, but couldn't bring himself to tell him to take a break and all that stuff. For the sake of his condition and all that stuff. But yeah. Okay, what the? As what? Let me just refreshing the page. I wasn't sure if the Viz menu thing, because I'm reading this off the Viz why it's still free. Let's see, buy the manga if you can, people. But but the latest chapters are available for a limited time on Viz for free.
It's always the last 3 chapters.
Yeah.
It used to let you apparently look at all the chapters, but then they switched and they're like, wait a minute.
Probably because they realized, you know what, we might be losing money over this.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been pretty bad, so. Oops.
So yeah. Now granted, somewhere online you probably get the free scanlations, but for the sake of supporting your manga series, if you actually want to support it, either buy the volumes or pay online subscriptions and all that stuff. But yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, getting back to the chapter at hand, as we end up with All Might thinking to the flashback about when from Class 1A getting the umbrellas from all those citizens. Thinking probably how he failed to reach Midoriya, but his classmates did. He says it's hard to explain, but he feels like he's the only one who's becoming more distant from heroes and the heroism. And it then looks like Stain is about to try and grab All Might and slash him, from the looks of things, but instead he hides him amongst the rubble. Well, granted, as someone is approaching the statue, as we see from the umbrella, the All Might starts to think from the start how he's never felt any real bloodlust from, Stain all this time. It makes a little joke about a warm embrace, talking about, are you sure I don't think we're pals yet for this. which is kind of funny. making a joke about this serious situation.
Yeah.
Stan says that he hasn't. That this is ideal timing and all that stuff, and tells him to behold as. Let's see. He ends up pushing All Might to end up looking at a statue. Let's see that as the woman as the woman says, they did it again, huh? Or like the figure, but as it reveals to be a woman who seems to have some sort of bubble like quirk or some sort of like I don't know, some sort of like lumpy kind of quirk ability. I don't know, something that let's see comes out of her feet as allows her to reach up high and all that stuff. With a useful quirk if you want to reach like the long book stacks, I guess.
Go. Yep.
But anyway, he says, well, until they get the message, as All Might is a bit shocked by what she's doing as she's pulling down the sign and cleaning the statue. As Stain ends up revealing that every day she purges the blasphemy erected by the hero detractors. And she's unlikely to travel as she likely travels from a nearby shelter and all that stuff. And causes no trouble for those in charge and all that stuff. However, All Might's a bit shocked by this, asking why she's risking her life out here for nothing, all that stuff, given the fact, why would she do this? Because, if she gets caught by hero detractors, they could possibly harm her in some form. And Stain reveals that this woman was the last person that All Might saved. Which I'm sure you probably remember was the block All Might did when All For One was doing that attack that eventually exposed his identity.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she's the one who also snaps All Might back after he despairs and learning the truth of Shigaraki is Nanane Shimura's grandson. Let's see. So yeah. Let's see. Luckychi's message. I've got a Skype from him saying, okay.
Message!
Luckychi has now joined us. And finally, people, Luckychi has joined us.
Yes. I will forever call Blue a sinner for thinking Star Wars is better than Lord of the Rings. Get out of here, Blue. Get out.
Private Skype call. Well, to be fair, Luckychi, I've only read the first 2 books and the Hobbit book, and I've not really seen the films.
Oh, fool! I didn't do any of it, so I'm just gonna call you a fool. I don't care. I didn't do any of that.
Everyone loves to pick on Blue Star, but well, to be fair, I've watched the Hobbit films, but not the Lord of the Rings films. I figured I read the books first before watching the movies.
Loser.
So you cursed the prequel trilogy, but not the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I find that fascinating.
I didn't have any interest in Lord of the Rings at the time, and I thought my curse was only on manga.
Your curse just exists in general.
Uh-oh.
So you're telling me I'm not allowed to enjoy any ongoing franchise or series?
I mean, look what happened to Game of Thrones.
I dropped Game of Thrones.
But you dropped it. You picked it up at one point.
I just can't win with you people.
You picked it up at one point.
I just have to hope My Hero Academia here ends on a positive note.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Just so
hope.
Just so that you can finally shut up about everything I read. It's ruined and all that stuff. But anyway.
Hey. April exists for a reason. That's already been...
Of course you do. But anyway.
I mean, look. In your defense, Blue, George hasn't finished the books for Game of Thrones, so who knows? Who knows? Maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe.
I'm pretty sure it will be. Let's see. It'll be a bittersweet ending.
I'm expecting that, but anyway, what part of the conversation that I jump into before continue further?
We're going to the bit where it's revealed that the woman cleaning the statue is the last person All Might saved.
Yeah.
That was surprising, but a welcome, notch of continuity, if you ask me.
You know, here's the funny thing. I remember. Now, I'm normally not the type of guy to look at spoilers, but someone on Twitter decided to just have it on their Twitter feed. So the only glimpse I caught was like, okay, it's the last person All Might saved. Here's the thing. I don't know how I misread that. I took that as it was like one of the few people that All Might saved from that video that Deku watched as a kid. That's what I thought. I was like, huh, okay, that's kind of cool.
But when the official chapter came out, it was like, oh, it's her.
Yeah, I still thought that was cool.
Yeah, and it was also kind of nice to see what her quirk is. Some sort of like bubble, let's see, or some sort of clay-like thing that allows her to, let's see, increase her height and all that stuff, or allows her to reach objects. But yeah, that's nice.
That is cool.
Yeah, but we're already getting a lot of like civilian continuity and cameos this arc, aren't we?
I'm not complaining about it.
Yeah, it is nice to actually get a glimpse of like the civilians, since the only one we really got to see is, besides the parents of the heroes, and Eri-chan is Kota, who's also related to heroes.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, guys, this final saga is just starting, and as good as it is right now,
It's just starting. It feels like it's been taking forever.
I could
We're
barely.
only at the first part of 3 parts, guys. We're only at the first part of 3 parts.
I don't know.
This is gonna be One Piece all over again. There's 1,000 more chapters coming.
Let's not say that.
Yeah, I doubt my hero could. Let's see, given where my
Figure out 1,000 chapters.
I don't think it could reach 1,000 chapters at the point range it is.
Unless you're Coach Akame, who somehow managed to have like 2,000-ish chapters. I don't remember the exact number, but 200 volumes, give or take.
Longest final arc ever.
Yeah.
Longest final arc of the series ever.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm pretty certain the most my hero probably be is around 500 chapters.
I'm gonna play the oddball here and say 74 chapters. I think Koei might just last until the 400 milestone. I think.
Fair enough. Anyway, but yeah, he says he does have some plans, and we just got to see how he's going to address them all. But yeah. Anyway, back to the topic at hand, as All Might's thinking back to the time of when he blocked her attack, blocked the All for One's attack, and she says to save us and snapping out, as we see All Might's shocked face to realize just who the person is. And Stan goes like, in the worst of times, All Might would always retain that grinning smile and all that stuff. And let's see, and devote his all to every fiber to help the people and all that stuff. And it had nothing to do with his power or quirks. It's like pretty much say the man himself rather than the power itself, if you will.
This is true.
Let's see. As the man they all knew as All Might could never not live his life any other way and all that stuff. And as he carved his ideals into the very soul and everyone's soul and was literally lauded for it and all that stuff.
Or so he says.
Soul.
As he goes on to ask, let's see, All Might, who are you to presume that you know everything about All Might? And tells him to look upon that woman. The end result, he ends up saying, but it's because of what All Might said earlier with the rubble. He says, like, he goes on about how All Might's influence lives on. And it goes on about how, as we see the woman cleaning the statue, we see all of Class 1A, as Stan saying, the flicking embers he left behind is nurtured in the select few heroes of the future generation who have not succumbed to like the current, let's see, a bit more of a like a fanatic way he's talking about, let's see, the current state of society. Let's see, as these new embers grow into flames and that stuff, as we see front and center Midoriya, Bakugo, and Shoto, because of course the 3 main boys and the 3 most popular characters.
Yeah.
Now, granted,
Ochiko's not relevant. I'm
granted, let's see. Ochako and Ida are close by to them and all that stuff, but I must admit, it's a bit surprising that Stain is also including Ida in this, because, he finds Ida as a phony, but I guess Koei wants to have all of Class 1A in this shot. But yeah.
Is this him being remembered, or is this him just telling All Might and All Might's thinking of this?
I'm thinking it's just All Might stuff. I don't believe it.
Stain doesn't know anyone.
Yeah, the only ones he really knows is just...
He would just know Midoriya and
Ida and Shoto.
No, yeah.
Shoto, but I don't even know if he would have thought of Ida too much, though.
Yeah. Now, granted, I am curious to see if Ida and Stain will meet again.
I suppose it could make sense if they want to have like some form of
rematch.
I don't know. Well, I don't know about rematch. I was going to say redemption for Ida, but yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
We don't even know what Stain is going to be doing in this.
Yeah. Anyway, he ends up telling, All Might, that the people must not let, the fire die out. And no matter how bad the struggle, we must, keep the flames so long as they draw breath and all that stuff. As we hear the woman saying, she's doing her best, and appears to be asking All Might, "You okay?" to the statue, not the actual All Might. She has no idea the actual All Might is looking at her. We see All Might shed a tear by how seemingly moved by Stain's speech and, the woman's actions. I'm hoping at some point Koei gives a name to this woman, either in a data book or later in the manga.
I mean, we didn't exactly get a name for the other person either, so...
I don't know. But I'm hoping maybe that the wikis at least will give, at least a page for this woman.
We'll call her Civilian Casualty 101. There.
All right. Anyway, let's see. Anyway, Stein goes on about how only a hero can claim the title as long as a soul burns fire in the surface of others. He ends up then going about, say, a god has fallen prostrate upon the earth, and his divine son has turned more feeble and mortal, as All Might seems to realize that, Stain probably knew that he was All Might all this time, and he did end up watching, when Midoriya left All Might and he went to his knees and all that stuff. No, Stain does not confirm this, but says that he doesn't presume to know who All Might is, but goes on to, because it's very possible that he still does not believe that All Might is All Might, but but he ends up telling All Might that if he is a true hero, he throws a knife with a piece of paper saying to make use of this information from his time in Tartarus. And then tells him to then come for the life of Stain, the man who murdered 40 heroes. Let's see. All for the sake of, fixing this society. As the chat ends with All Might still crying, with the woman looking on the sky, as it seems like the rain is starting to stop, but you see she says the rain's letting up as the rain stops, as we see All Might's statue fist up in the sky. And that ends the chapter.
So, Death Flag reinitiated for All Might? I don't know.
The Death Flag? I mean, I suppose, but...
No, I'm joking.
Anyway, Luckychi, since you've been hiding us all for the last week and all that stuff, saving for the stream, what are your thoughts on this chapter, now that we've finally seen All Might and Stain meet face to face?
Well, I can happily say that it was an absolute shit show. It was so corny. I could not believe what I was reading. I was like, okay, here we go. No, I'm joking.
I thought I heard sarcasm there.
I was like, oh, yeah, okay. Truth be told, let me be on 100% real here, because I know y'all probably sensed stuff as soon as I started talking. I never would have guessed this is what I wanted from my hero. Like, okay, because and Blue knows this because I've talked to him about it, like during our previous streams. I thought had Deku beat Class 1A, that I thought what was setting up with the scene that we saw staying in earlier was that he was going to give Deku the pep talk. That's what I thought. I was like, all right, maybe Deku's going to take out Class 1A, even with how worn out he is, and then Stain gives him the pep talk. But I never really took into account that maybe that, like with what this chapter gave us, he'd give All Might the pep talk, and I don't know, I was kind of a little speechless about it, if I'm being perfectly honest. I was like, wow. Like, if you told me that's where we were going with in this chapter, I would have said you're crazy.
Yeah. Let's see. I know that many people. I know that the fan base was a bit split on whether or not Midori should stay away from UA or not, or go back. But it seems that, let's see, he got the wake-up call from where it needed it most, his friends, and even led to like great character growth, particularly for Bakugo, and a nice heroine speech with Uraraka when it came to the civilians, who Witzy started to, get them to open their eyes a bit, or at least the ones that are sheltering at UA.
Yeah.
And now, and Witzy, and it's given us this time to finally get that Stain and All Might meeting, and Stain, who took All Might's ideas perhaps to the extreme, on the extreme one end, is actually the one to snap him out of it and all that stuff.
Yeah, that was
Huh.
But anyway, I do like how All Might ends up going back to where Class 1A and Midoriya had the fight, Kimino City, where his last moments as a hero and all that stuff. Which I find interesting that they left behind Midoriya's mask and all that stuff, but you'd think they'd take it with him, but then again, I guess he does need a new pair of clothes. But I do like how he just looks at, we get how Koei just gets All Might to look on the statue and gets closer with the I am not here kind of thing, showing that how, besides not just heroes as a whole, it's also All Might some people have lost faith in.
I'm actually kind of hoping that, as far as Deku's outfit goes, like I don't want it to be like a completely brand new design, like it's like his same old outfit, but nothing's changed. Like I'm actually kind of hoping that it's what we see, but it's just like like stitched up and whatnot. Because that design for Deku, I thought, was the best out of what we've had of him so far.
Well, on one hand, yeah, the ragged look was cool, but I think he'll probably be a much more nicer and cleaner look, but who knows? Let's see. I'm assuming that but who knows? It might add some more details with the scarf now that he's been given Gran Torino's thing, so it might be a cleaner look of that. But yeah, but we'll have to see. Not to mention the armbands he got from like All Might.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do like how, due to the fact that Stain has not been in prison all this time, though granted, I'm surprised he didn't do a Google search, but he doesn't know what All Might's civilian form looks like.
I mean, he's been in the prison for a while, so I'm pretty sure he knows a lot of stuff given the papers that he has.
But yeah.
Who would know? I think he knew anyway, but it's not like
for sure.
But I do like how he ends up just getting All Might to, just use the form because, before the reveal, before his battle with One For All, I was talking to this Mangareader earlier and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, All For One, sorry. Is that, All Might's skinny form and muscular form was the closest thing this manga had to a secret identity. From like hero tropes and all that stuff.
Gee, what gave that away?
But no. But yeah.
Good.
But I do like the way it's drawn, especially that one bit where he tells like Koi, where he says to All Might that you're not All Might, you sham and all that stuff. But yeah.
Yes. Called him a sham.
But yeah. I do kind of like how we get All Might's speech about how he was just trying to like do anything he can to fix Hero Society in the path he went on.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, it ended up back where he started, if you will. Or in fact, he may be even worse. But
this is true.
So he doesn't really feel much like a hero since he couldn't help his own disciple. He couldn't all that stuff. So there. But I do like how Stain ends up, like as we talked earlier, like let's see, the last person he saved and his speech to like snap him out of it as he finally realized that even though he's no longer like the hero he once was, he's left, let's see, the flames or the embers embers of flames, the winds to like the next generation of heroes and all that stuff. He'll carry on his like thing. So yeah. There's that. So and I do like how Stain appears to, let's see, as we know, Stain does not really agree with Shigaraki or the League of Villains. Let's see, he seemed to be willing to at least stay around with them, as we remember from the Stain arc about when they met for the first time. Stain, let's see, was disappointed, was disgusted with Shigaraki, though he gave him a chance because they both wanted to destroy the present, but clearly that in the end they clearly have clashing ideals, despite the fact that Shigaraki used Stain's ideology to recruit the Vanguard Action Squad for the League of Villains. That eventually led to All Might's downfall, or All Might's last battle. But yeah, but I do like how Stain ends up apparently giving some information that he's managed to acquire from his time in Tartarus. So this is probably maybe possible information that might lead to where the League of Villains is currently at, or some other information that will probably help the heroes and all that stuff.
Most likely.
But yeah. But I do find the one thing that intrigues me is Stain telling All Might that once you've used his information, then come for the man. As he still points out that he is the man who killed 40 heroes.
Just point that out, man. Just point that out. 40 heroes.
I know, right?
I think this is it's possible that Koei is also doing this to remind people that those ones, sorry for the cough there.
Stain's always been a gray area person anyway, though.
Yeah, he's always been like that, so that it's not super surprising that.
Yeah, but perhaps it's a reminder to us and readers and All Might that this guy has killed heroes. So
I think the fan base is split onto what exactly Stain is. Is he a villain? Is he a villain with somewhat diluted morals? Is he a...
You mean an anti-villain?
I was gonna say anti-hero, but anti-villain can work too.
The anti-villain would, I guess, make more sense, considering he killed heroes, albeit, I guess those heroes may or may not have been... Well, I don't know. I think heroes are heroes in this series, but obviously from when that whole arc played out, heroes were considered more of a profession more so than a living choice.
But yeah, it's more like that he killed those he did not consider true heroes and all that stuff. But yeah.
Those that were only in it for fame and fortune, yeah.
Let's see, but perhaps this is him reminding us that, this guy has killed, so maybe it's best not that this guy gets a redemption and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Well, everything he's done since that arc hasn't necessarily been villainous. He rescued Deku from the Namu back in the
who may or may not have been one of his childhood classmates who bullied him.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know how far back in terms of professions we're going to get, or not that professions. Character references we're going to get.
I mean, the closest Stain bit we get is and that's only like how he gets his ideology bits, but that's about it. You don't need further than that.
Fair enough.
But this whole arc right now has been nothing but character callbacks.
Yeah.
But anyway, to move on the point, I think it's interesting that it seems that Stain is telling All Might that once the stuff with Tartarus done, come and get him because, as we all remember, instead, before Stain got knocked out, got lost consciousness, he says like, "The only one worthy to kill me is All Might."
Who?
Seems like he's implying that he wants All Might to, even though he's powerless right now, to eventually come and, beat him.
Put him to death.
Yeah.
Just kill him right now, dude. Just shoot him in the back.
So it does make me wonder if this is implying that Kohei might get All Might involved in the action somehow again.
If he does, it last.
So we're gonna get a movie reference. Are we gonna have plot-induced stupidity? All for one. That can transfer abilities, but not actually be transferred.
Oh, I know what I was like. What? Oh, that. That'd be.
Oh no! Granted, I was thinking maybe do like what the mentor for like vigilantes is, like a non-quirk knuckle buster.
I can't see All Might being Knuckle Buster.
No.
But no, I suppose if All Might was to get into action, he'd probably be more of a tech-based, probably, if he had to. But yeah,
I mean, Knuckle Buster's in a league of his own. But...
He's the only one that so far has defied anything that this series has established. That if you're not power, or if you lack a quirk, that you're not allowed to be able to be anything particularly great.
I mean, he is essentially what Koei.
He's the antithesis of what All Might told us at the start of the series, that if you lack a quirk, you can't be a hero.
No, not that necessarily, but he does kind of embody what Koei originally wanted to do with Deku, which is not give him a quirk, but I was like, okay.
I assume his editor said that, nah, you should probably give him a quirk.
Yeah, good man.
But then again, it did lead to, like, let's see, the plot line of the established conflict, so, heck.
This is true. I'm not complaining. I was just like, I wonder how that would
Quirkless Deku would have been weird.
Yeah.
Given his design.
But anyway, the Knuckle Buster guy is pretty much the closest this series has to this franchise has to a Batman. Well, granted, we still have to wait and see whether or not the vigilante characters actually show up in the My Hero manga.
Can we get an anime for that, please?
Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. It may be waiting until the manga series will actually end, because I'm told that's on the final arc, right?
For Vigilantes? Let me see. Last I checked it was on its final arc, but I can double check.
Fair enough, but yeah.
Actually, if it is, I find that interesting how both Vigilantes and My Hero are technically on their final stretches, if you will.
Yeah, but yeah.
Let me see. Vigilantes story. Ooh, Volume 13 looks cool. Anyway, that's besides the point.
But anyway, yeah. So, yeah, Stain, let's see. Yeah, where were we? Stain saying that, come and face me if you're like, let's see, come and beat me afterwards, like, for Just Society. But yeah. So, that's probably just about everything to talk about individually about what we like about this chapter. Yeah. Let's see. Overall thoughts, I guess. So, I suppose now we should get to the overall score of the chapter, I guess, or would you want to talk about?
I'm stuck on that. Like, okay, I'm stuck in a good way because I'm trying to think where it's like, okay, if we're talking plot progression, I wouldn't say there was a lot per se.
But in terms
that being said, though, the character stuff is, to me, the biggest part of the chapter. So it's kind of like, well, okay, in terms of story, yeah, we didn't progress a lot, but in terms of character, that's like I said, a different ballgame.
I definitely say that's the case, and this particular of All Might's character, as we get Stain Ritzy snapping him out and revealed just what he's left behind, actually.
Yeah. So, in
Oh.
terms of my own chapter rating, I'll give it an amazing plus. The only reason why I'm not giving a break the scale is because, again, and you could call it a nitpick of mine, but it's like, yeah, okay, we didn't progress the plot too much. Well, like, the character stuff for me was like this part. So I was like,
if I recall, the amazing plus is that the 9 to 10 ratio?
that's 9.5.
Ooh.
You guys are a lot more generous than I'm going to be with my my number.
Yeah,
Well, but again, that's the highest I'll give it. If I were to give it any lower, maybe Great Plus, and Great Plus is like pushing it to 8.5.
Yeah, I think I'd probably give this like an 8.5 to 9 out of 10. I mean, it's a fun chapter with a nice speech and all that stuff. And I got excited for the All Might versus Stain meeting at last. Not to mention that surprise cameo from like the last person All Might saved. And it appears that Stain has given like All Might some information to possibly defeat the League of Villains and all that stuff. So yeah. So Margarita, what's your score? Since you seem to be the most critical one.
I know. I seem like the almost pop. Oh wait, no. In the past few times, I've seemed like the most positive. No. Like I said, you guys are pretty generous with your scores. I personally, I think it's a 7 out of 10.
That's not bad. So I think 7 is pretty reasonable.
Like I said, you guys seemed a little more generous. I mean, I'm not saying that the 7. I mean, I don't know. 7 out of 10 seems well, okay. If there were filler in a manga, which there's not, this definitely would reach filler, for my opinion.
I'll say this, for me, I don't think it supersedes how I felt with how Deku was like at the start of the arc, but it's I'd say it's still pretty good for what it is, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. But I don't know what this chapter essentially is trying to accomplish. Because if they're really putting All Might back into the story, then fine. I don't know if this necessarily had to be the way to put him back into it, but
so
it's kind of tricky because you don't know like which direction we're going in.
So that's a question. So this comes to mind. Do you think this means that he's finally going to go back into class, back to UA, and reunite with all his students and all that stuff?
Well, that's probably where it's headed at this point, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what this chapter essentially is trying to. Because I mean, even if Stain, I don't know if we needed to know that Stain was essentially like this, because it felt like he was like this when we first saw him. So I don't know what Stain trying to talk All Might out of a depression art, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what it accomplishes. I'm not sure. It's a nice emotional chapter, but I mean, I don't know story-wise what this is trying to progress, I guess.
Okay, interesting.
That's all I'm saying is I don't know if there were filler in a manga, this feels like kind of filler because he wasn't sure what to throw in.
Yeah, I mean,
throw in from the last chapter.
It's kind of going back to what I was saying. Is like, okay, it's more so how important is this going to be later on down the line. Like, yeah, it's setting up for something, but how big will the payoff be is the question.
Well, if it's setting up for nothing, then clearly this was a filler chapter.
Yeah.
You mean like Mufane versus Hanzo?
Could possibly be. Who knows?
No. Like, no, I'm not going to say it.
She just wanted to draw Stain for a chapter, so this is what we got.
Or how about the Jigglebutt gang from Rave Master?
Okay, that's like fun filler. I'm not gonna call that filler, but that's like fun filler. But okay, it's like, what's a good comparison I can make this to.
There's no filler in manga.
No, there's a series I had at the top of my head.
I know.
Oh, okay. This could be as relevant as when Kiraku was giving all of Ichigo's friends the tickets to Soul Society because Ichigo was going to be too powerful, and we all know how that turned out. So it could be as relevant as that, where it's like, huh? Oh,
Yeah, you speak of that, and fair enough. That kind of reminds me of that. Let's see, 'cause that ends up being brought up in the Bleach novel called "Can You Fear Your Own World?" Let's see, book in the first chapter. But yeah, or the prologue, if you will.
well, no, but that's the thing. Like, it could be as relevant as that. As like, and it could like, okay, how relevant exactly was that? Not too relevant. So it could be that. Which, hoping that's not what happens.
Okay.
Hmm.
But yeah, so who knows? Likely, we're probably going to get All Might reuniting with Class 1A or UA, and possibly him giving whatever information Stain is to the other heroes, which probably might lead to a source to the League of Villains and all that stuff. And the only other thing I can think of what All Might can do as well is tell the public the full truth of, one for all, and, try and ease public's worry, the fact that hope is still out there and all that stuff.
Is it though, Blue? Is it? Is hope really still out there?
Well, you were feeling hopeful for the last 20 chapters.
I meant with the series in particular, but sure, let's go with My Hero for the time being.
We clearly need to find you a new Attack on Titan, Luckychi.
Good luck. It's going to take at least another 10 years.
You may be surprised. It probably comes when you least expect it. But anyway, overall, I think we've overall wrapped up our thoughts of the chapter. We've said everything that we needed to, unless you guys have anything else you want to say.
I gotta. Okay, I don't want to say it's a big prediction, but more so retains the Deku. So, if I had to give my prediction on what I think will happen next chapter, I think we'll focus on Deku again, because I could totally see Koei going in that direction. I don't think Deku's going to be rested completely, but I get the impression, given with the speech that Ochiko made, I get the impression that maybe he would want to talk with her again after that.
So
That's a bold prediction, man.
So you're hoping for a Midoriya Ochiko conversation?
Of sorts. And I know people are going to take this as, shipping moment. No, I'm like just generally just curious how. Because based on the way how she was giving up that speech, it to me kind of felt like, okay, this is going to come back at some point, and I wonder if that's what'll happen in the next chapter. Because based on how we've seen Deku so far, he hasn't been the type to play the waiting game anymore.
Fair enough. I'm just curious to see if Denki is going to fulfill his promise of saying, "You need a bath, Midoriya."
I'm going to laugh so hard that if we actually get that.
He's been bathing all day. It's been raining non-stop.
But anyway, there we go. But anyway, I think that's everything. And
he's been raining in blood. That's exactly what's been going
raining
on.
in blood.
So anyway, I'm Blue Star Saber.
I'm Mangareader.
Blue Stars forever cursed for thinking that Star Wars is better than Lord of the Rings. And I'm Luckychi.
I said it was a preference, but anyway.
Whoa!
Hello, it's in my name, Blue Star Saber, Star Wars fan. What do you expect? But anyway,
You shall
anyway.
not pass. Done.
Oh.
But anyway, before this gets any more heated, we're signing off, everyone, and goodbye. Plus Ultra.
Boy.
And goodbye.